Greetings YouTube, Sega Zombie here and welcome to my revival video. My god, what an absolutely stonking weekend. Better than I could have possibly imagined. I've been waiting for this event now for a number of weeks, been buzzing building up to it, and it didn't disappoint, guys. This just rubber stamps to me why I'm in this amazing hobby. The retro scene is just absolutely unbelievable. I met some fantastic tubers, gamers, Facebookers, fellow collectors. Absolutely amazing, guys. I've got so much I want to share with you, and I'm just hoping we can cram it all into this video. I think where I'm going to start for now is the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. That's always the best place to start, with a tale. And I left on Friday night. We drove up to Nottingham, down from sunny Suffolk up to Nottingham. It was a long old trek. There was problems on the 14. It took some time. We didn't leave until late. I drove up there with my nephew Shaq and my really good retro pal Ian Stewart. We travelled up to Nottingham. We crashed at Lee Thornley's pad. He was very kind and put us up for the night. We didn't get there until about midnight. We stayed up until the early hours chatting away. I had met Lee before, and we had so much to catch up on. He's a Retro Realm admin with us on the team, and we just chatted until the early hours. We got a very few hours sleep before we had to set off from Nottingham to Warsaw to the revival event. And yeah, we got there and wow, absolutely fantastic. As soon as I got in the door, I had people approaching me, talking about YouTube, about games, about the Sega Wall, blue spines, you name it. It was getting thrown out there. And I think that's where we're going to start. I'm just going to run through a list, and I'm really hoping I haven't forgot anyone. I've tried to be organised here, guys, and while it's fresh in my memory, just to remember everyone that I had a long chat to and, you know, got on with really well. And I think I'm going to start with Holly, Holster TV. Yeah, met Holly for the first time. I love her videos. Oh, by the way, guys, all of the names I'm going to mention, if they're tubers, I'm going to put a link down below to their channels. I absolutely love Holly's channel. She shows so much passion in what she's collecting. Absolutely hooked on boot sale videos. I was explaining to Holly that around these parts, boot sales have been dead a long time. You're lucky to find anything gaming related. So I love to watch these boot sale videos just to see what I'm missing out on, basically. But yeah, loads of chats with Holly. And then obviously I stayed with, shared a hotel room with Pete Armour on Onaretrotip. Spent a lot of my time with Pete. Great to catch up with him again. It's been over a year since I last see Pete, and what a fantastic guy he is. You know, it's just brilliant. We shared many a taxis and walks home. Yeah, so Pete, awesome, great to see you, Pete. Someone I really was dying to meet, and I knew I was going to get on with this guy really well because watching his videos, we seem to have a very similar taste, and we followed the same sort of journey through our gaming life, which is really mad. And that's Paul, Mr. Bad's Games. Absolutely fantastic to meet you, Paul. I spoke to you briefly on the Saturday, but it was all just a bit overwhelming, so many people, but we had a real long chat on the Sunday, and we had a walk round together and talked loads about games. And yeah, it was just really fantastic to finally meet you, Paul. Absolutely brilliant, mate. And then obviously, he needs no introduction, Mr. TootyUK himself, Stuart Charlesworth, the legend, the man, the myth. What a geezer he is. Oh, great laugh. Chatted to Stu throughout the whole of the event and drank some beer. Absolutely brilliant. Someone that gave me a shout out a while ago, and I've watched his videos for years, and I really was looking forward to meeting him, and that's Jay, Cyber Snake. Absolutely brilliant to meet you, Jay, finally. And yeah, we had a brilliant chat about PC Engine games, and we looked through Alan's stall for quite a long time. Japanese Alan stall, just a huge stall at most events. with everything Japanese you can think of. We talked loads about PC Engine. It was absolutely great. And then I can't forget Alex, Nintendo Arcade. Absolutely brilliant. To meet you again, Alex, and yeah, you was absolutely buzzing, mate, soaking up the whole atmosphere, playing loads of games. It was absolutely great. It was mental watching you play that Sky Skipper game, and yes, mate, absolutely great to catch up as usual. I also got to talk to this time. Last year we shook hands, but we didn't really get to have much of a chat, and that's Steve, Sinisteve, absolute top guy. He bought loads of Amiga stuff, and yeah, absolute top bloke. And we chatted loads about Mega Drive, Amiga, and the whole event in general. So really great to finally have a good long chat with you, Steve. And then next up we've got Mark from Burnoutculture. Mark, absolutely laid back as guy. We had plenty of chats in the event and in the after party. Really top guy. We had loads to talk about because he's also chasing a full Mega Drive set, and he said so many kind words about my channel and my videos and the collection in general. And yeah, me and Mark hit it off really well. We had loads to talk about. So Burnoutculture, and then someone that's quite new to the tubes, and he's going down a storm. He's really a level guy, and he comes across on his videos just so naturally. And that's Eddie, and that's RollerXcore. RollerXcore, X-Core is RollerXcore. He told me that. We talked loads about games, loads about how we've changed our collections over the years. We had a long chat about that. Absolutely fantastic to meet you, Eddie. Top man. And next up we've got, I didn't recognise him, but I knew the voice. I knew the voice straight away when he was waffling on about a certain subject, and that is Pete, old school variety face. I love your channel, mate. You're just so out there. It's absolutely brilliant, and it was finally really chuffed to speak to you, mate, and have a chat. Next up we've got Let's Talk Retro. Sorry James, I have to look down there. Just subscribe to your channel, mate. I actually wasn't subscribed to your channel. I was checking out some of your videos this morning. I had a long chat with you at the after party, mostly drunken chat. And then we've got Scott. I've got to mention Scott. Great name, Scott. Scott Glory Hunter 82. Had loads of chats with Scott. He was one of the first people I was starting to walk around with on the Saturday morning, first thing. Loads to talk about there. We talked a lot about original Xbox and the prices, and whether that is going to be a collection that certain games are going to go up in value and things like that. We also had a long talk about Dreamcast, and he said some really kind words also about the Dreamcast videos that I've been putting up. So absolutely fantastic guy, and again, I spent a lot of time with Scott in the after party, the after event party, which was an absolute blast. So yeah, really good to finally meet you, Scott. And then we've got Dave. I speak to Dave all the time, or I used to a lot, on Facebook Messenger. We chat loads. I'm always watching his videos. Great channel. And that's Dave, RetroDave Nintendo. It's finally we get to meet, mate. We've been at a few events and never seemed to cross paths or meet each other. So it's absolutely fantastic to finally shake your hand, mate, and have a chat. It was absolutely brilliant. And then there was Dana, Danstar 83. He was stalled out there, had a mixed bag of stuff for sale. Yeah, briefly chatted with you, Dana. Good to meet you for the first time, mate. And then someone that's not been on the tubes for so long, and mate, you've got to get back in there, get back on the tubes, mate. I want to see a new video. I love your videos. You're one of the first UK tubers that I started watching, and it was you that really, you and Pete and the likes, that got me into YouTube. And that's GRUSS Newton, absolutely top guy. And I think he really enjoyed himself at the after party. But yeah, it was great to see you, Russ. And yeah, as always, mate, and get a bloody video out. We want some more videos. And then there was Big Mike. I've never seen Big Mike's videos. Again, I've subscribed to him and been watching his videos this morning. Absolutely great guy, really knowledgeable bloke. He knows his stuff. Chatted to him for ages with Paul, Mr. Bads, and that's Big Mike. Without further ado, Retro, absolutely great guy. And then there was James, Jimmy Retro. We see him on the Sunday with his partner. Again, I was talking to Mr. Bads, Paul, and yeah, had a good chat with him. He was talking loads about his future videos and the Mega Drive Sega angle on some of his videos, so I'm really looking forward to them, Jimmy. Can't wait for those. So they're the YouTubers. I'm really hoping I didn't miss anyone there. I apologise for that, but I think I've got everyone. Oh, I'm going to be kicking myself if I've forgotten you. Then there was people that just generally, I don't think they've got channels as such, but they really do comment on my videos. And this was when I first early went in. I had a group of guys come up to me and recognise me, Sega Zombie, love the Sega Wall, and that's Hardcore Gamer. Sorry I didn't capture all of your names, I can't remember, but I spoke to one of the lads, Kev, Black Arrow Game Talk, I believe. He did give me a card, and that's what's on the card. Great to chat to you guys. I know you comment on my videos, that's brilliant. And then someone that always comments on my videos, and he always leaves a really great comment, and that's Dylan Craven. Finally got to put a name to a face, Dylan, and my God, we had loads of chats. Really, really top guy. And yeah, we talked loads in the event and again at the after party, which was absolutely brilliant. And then another guy that, wow, the collections this guy has got is unbelievable. We talked a lot about arcade cabinets. I have such an interest in that because it is where my collecting, I think, is going to travel to, and that's getting some arcade cabs in this room. And that is Rob, CraigsHereAgain. He comments on loads of my videos. Really knowledgeable guy. We spoke loads and loads throughout the Saturday. I don't think he was there the Sunday, or if he was, I was too hungover, didn't notice him. Sorry for that, Rob. But absolutely top guy. So that's the YouTuber side of the event done. Another big thing about the event was to finally meet some of the Retro Realm admin team that I talk to on a daily basis. We have loads of banter behind the scenes on Retro Realm, and it was really great. I'd only ever meet in Lee Thornley. So I'd briefly meet in Nathan Russell at a London gaming market where he's absolutely mobbed, so I didn't really get a chance to chat to him much. But he was there during the day at Revival, obviously stalling out with Gold Saucer Games. Absolutely lovely guy, real laid back guy, and I know he's feeling poorly on the Saturday, but he looked a lot brighter on the Sunday, and I hope you had a fantastic trading day, mate. It seemed very busy on the Saturday, but yeah, Lee Thornley, who put us up for the Friday night, great guy. Met Lee before, absolutely top geezer. And then there was the man, the legend from Scotland himself, the ultimate warrior, and that is David Jameson. David is an absolute legend. There was a bromance over that Revival weekend. Him and my nephew Shaq hit it off like mad. They were knocking back the drinks. What an absolute top guy he was. And Dave is just, yeah, he's an absolute legend, and I knew you was going to be the laugh that you are in the groups. In person, you didn't disappoint, Dave. An absolute top man. And yeah, that was absolutely awesome. And also Tooty Stewart is part of the Retro Realm admin team. So yeah, we all met up, loads of talk and loads of banter, and then obviously we went out all together on the after party with all the tubers. It was absolutely great. The event itself, loads of stalls, absolutely loads of stuff to buy. As usual at these events, you have to keep going around, checking prices, having a bit of a haggle. I've done loads of haggling, but yeah, an absolutely fantastic event. And what you'll see at the end of this is my reel of Revival, putting all the best bits together. Now that's going to start with the Vectrix, and I had a really long chat with Chris Parsons. The first thing I bought, I think we're going to go into the pickups now, guys, and the first thing that I bought off Chris was his new game, and I think everyone that is into Vectrix picked this up on the day, and that's this Frontier. It's like a retelling of Sheriff, the awesome arcade cab owned by Nintendo Arcade himself, but an absolutely fantastic game. I played it quite a bit at the event. I had to buy it. I bought it. Me and Chris had a long chat. He was really kind and all the stuff there, because Nintendo Arcade Alex had gone round and done a room tour at his house a number of episodes back, a couple of years back I think, and he spoke highly of my game room tour and all that. It was absolutely fantastic, Chris. He also gave me an overlay for Frogger, which is absolutely awesome, mate. Thank you. So it was really good to actually finally meet you, mate. Brilliant. I need a sip of drink. My throat still has not recovered from Revival. Saturday in particular, I didn't get to play much on the Saturday. I bought a few bits on the Saturday, but it was really tough because it was just constant talking, banter, greeting, meeting. It was absolutely fantastic. This Revival really is the social event of the year. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Oh, so my throat is still recovering. Apologies for the little drop in sound quality on this video. I've just got a brand new iPad Pro, and it's got this C power port, no bloody headphone jack. So I bought the adapter and none of my microphones are working, so it's the built-in mic. I'm hoping it's good enough for this video. So apologies for that, guys. Something I'm going to need to sort out for future videos. But I wanted to get this video out while I'm buzzing, while it's fresh in my head. So where were we? I'm waffling again. Yes, pickups. One of the first things I got, and that's from the man himself, TootyUK. On a video, he got this in one of his pickups videos, and I cheekily left a comment saying, "Ooh, Shinobi sticker," and he didn't disappoint. He brought it along to the event and handed it to me. The original Shinobi sticker there. Absolutely chuffed with that. I'm going to be sticking that here on the Sega Wall. So that's absolutely brilliant, that Stu. Love it, mate. I'm going to try and do this in order of how I picked it up, I think. So yeah, first off was the Vectrix game. And what I'm going to do, guys, if I've got the room, is I'm going to try and stand the stuff up if I can. It might be disastrous, but yeah, we got Frontier. Can't wait to get real stuck into that game. Such an addictive game. I played Sheriff Revival 2018. So glad I got the opportunity to play that, and it's an absolutely fantastic early arcade machine. You're a very lucky man, Alex, to own that. That is brilliant. And it's got a Sega influence. Love it, Alex. Yeah, back to the pickups. I'm going to waffle, guys. I really am, because I'm just absolutely buzzing about this. Let's do this in order. Now, the next thing I purchased, and this was an absolute brilliant bargain, this. And there was a small trader there that had just some random Sega bits and some retro magazines, and I spotted straight away some Sega CD games. And first up in the bundle, I got this, and that's Panic, which is a US exclusive, never come out here in the UK. The case is a little bit battered, but the disc and manual, it's even got the little bit of foam in there, guys. Absolutely chuffed with that. You know what, I'm a sucker for the exclusives. I want them all, I really do. And yeah, the case has seen better days. It's gone on the hinges. As you can see, it was marked up at £20. So that's the first one. Then it don't stop there, guys. Next up, we've got Formula 1 Beyond the Limit. Now this one's not an exclusive, but he literally had a couple of pounds on this. and apart from a little crack there, the case is still complete, and it's also got the foam in it, which is absolutely brilliant. So for a couple of pounds, I put that in the bundle. And then finally we got this one, and that is the Revenge of the Ninja, like an FMV anime sort of cartoon style game. And you guys know I'm an absolute sucker for the FMV games. Can't wait to play this game. I've never played it. Again, it's got a little bit of damage to the hinge up here, which is always the problem with these cases, but I'm going to swap this one for the F1 game and also put the bit of foam in here. That's me thinking anyway, guys. And as you can see, it's got £15 on there. The guy actually done the whole bundle for me for £30. I was absolutely chuffed, sick with that. Chris Richardson, great guy, and he come to the after party. He was stalling out there, another seller. And apologies, Chris, I can't remember the name of your store, your shop. Apologies there, mate. It's gone. But yeah, he actually first thing, he seen me put these in my bag, and he went, you've got some good games there, mate. But I also got some, and he pulled out a lovely stack of Japanese and some PAL games, and I was just like, oh man. Fortunately, I weren't too gutted because I did have them all, but awesome by that, Chris. Brilliant, mate. Another game I picked up, a Mega Drive game. I thought I had this PAL, but it turns out I only have the Japanese release, and that is Zero Wing. So I managed to pick up a PAL copy of that. Again, I knocked the guy down to 15. I think he had 18, 20 on it. Can't remember. I think it was 20 actually. But yeah, I got this for £15. Absolutely great condition. Really chuffed to get that. And that's another one off the PAL list. Great little shooter this as well. Mixes it up a lot. Nice soundtrack as well. Great little game, guys. Really worth checking this out. Zero Wing. Nice shooter. And then the next thing I got was everyone laughed at this one, but I love this kind of stuff. I'm really getting into some of this merchandise, especially the original stuff from back in the day in the 90s, and my god, this don't disappoint. This looks very 90s, and it's this, an original Sonic the Hedgehog Sound Zone. I think it's like a cassette holder or something like that, and it will go really well with this, which I picked up a while back now, guys. The Sonic personal stereo Walkman. So yep, that goes with that. It's also got the Sound Zone written on it there, and this was marked up at £7. Didn't really want to pay £7 for it because it has got a little bit of ruffling here on the bottom, and I just cheekily said to the guy, would you take a £5 for it? He said yes, I will. Got that for a £5, which I thought was a really good price. And later on, when I opened it up, it had 4 empty Game Gear game cases in it. So really chuffed with that. Didn't know they were in there. So that was an absolute brilliant, because I need some of those. I've got quite a few loose Game Gear games without those plastic cases. So that was a bit of a Brucey bonus. I'm going to put that down there, guys. And then following the order, what did I get next? Oh yes, I got myself a little Spectrum book. Absolutely cheap as chips. Chris Wilkins and Fusion Books. I picked up a couple of books recently, which I'm going to show in a future pickups video. And absolutely fantastic read, and some great artwork in there. Let's open this up because I haven't opened it yet. But it's a little sort of like little book of Sinclair ZX Spectrum games. Absolutely, for £1. That was just £1. I had to buy it for that price. Look, it's hardback. Looks a great little read with some lovely pictures in there. I'm really looking forward to reading up on some of the old specky games. So yeah, £1. There was bargains there, guys. Absolutely chuffed with that. And then we move on to a gift. David Jameson, the legend he is, as I've already mentioned. He was walking around with me and was going through some Mega Drives, and he mentioned this certain game that he said was really tough to get when he completed his full Mega Drive PAL set. And he said it wasn't an easy one to get and that I should grab it. I was a little put off because it didn't have a manual. And as we went round the event, carrying on talking, he said, that's probably worth getting, Scott, even without a manual, because it is a tough one to get. Tick it off that list, and you never know, in the future it might come up with a manual, or you might get the manual one day, you never know. And later on, with all the hustle and bustle and all the different people I was meeting, Dave probably went to the bar again. And yeah, he come back later on while I was talking, and he said, oh, did you pick up that game? And I said, no, I didn't, mate. And he said, oh, that's gone. I said, oh no, you're joking me. I said, I was, after this chat, gonna go over there and go and pick up. And he said, no, it's gone, it's sold to you, my friend. And I was like, no way. And he actually picked this up for me. It's Paint Games and Music Style Fun and Games. A tough one to get hold of. And yeah, I said, how much do you want? How much was it, Dave? I think it was about £8, something like that. And he said, it's a gift, mate. I don't want any money for it. And I was just like, you are an absolute legend. And I'm absolutely chuffed sick with that, mate. Absolutely brilliant. You are a legend, mate. Absolutely brilliant. So that was a gift from my good mate Dave. Right, are we following order? I think we are. Then we go on to another gift, and this is a controversial one for this channel, and there is an ulterior motive as well. I know this for a fact. Alex, Nintendo Arcade, he spotted me before I spotted him, grabbed me and shouted Nintendo, Nintendo, Nintendo in my ear. I knew it had to be him. I turned around, we had a good old chat with me and Alex. The banter as always with the old 16-bit wars. And yeah, he said, I have a gift for you, mate. And he handed me a box later on in the event when we met up again. And that is, I can't believe I'm showing this on Sega Zombie now has a PAL SNES. Look at that. An SNES, SNES. I've always called it a SNES, Super Nintendo. Absolutely brilliant, lovely condition, Alex, because a lot of these you see, I know I see a lot of them on the groups and they're usually discoloured, gone a bit yellow in the light grey, but that looks fantastic. And he said, Scott, Sega Zombie, you will be doing a video on this. I will. We're going to compare the slower system. Going to get into it. It come with all the leads and power supply. I needed to get myself a pad. Absolutely chuffed to bits with this, Alex. Really can't wait. Your high score challenge, the Contra 3. I was playing that loads on my SNES Mini, and I really, you know me, guys. I love my proper, real original hardware. I've got nothing against emulation. I do like it. I just find that with emulation, I just don't play it as much. It sounds really stupid, but I find myself, say if I've got an EverDrive or something like that, I just find myself scrolling through the menus and I just can't decide on a game to play. It's really weird. Or I'll play a game for just a few minutes and then quickly change it to something else. It's just how I am. But if you're buying a game with your own hard-earned money on original hardware, you give it more time, I think anyway, and you play the game. So it's really great, Alex, that you've given me this, mate. Absolutely chuffed with that. I had an inkling this was happening. He did mention about the Super Nintendo. So I made sure I took along a big bag of games. I had loads of Sega Mega Drive games, Alex, which you're going to be featuring in a future video, I hope, mate. And get some of that blast processing into the channel. But yes, so Alex had some great Sega games that I hope he's going to enjoy. And like I said, just having some original hardware, and this will sit proud in the games room, mate. Going to pass some games. So that then moves me on to what I bought for the rest of the afternoon and into the Sunday. A couple other little bits, but I'll talk about that later because that was done in the after party, the after revival party, sort of tube Facebook meetup that we had, which has gone down in history. What a great night that was. But yeah, on the Sunday, I was like, yes, I want some Super Nintendo games. You know, Alex has inspired me, wants me to do a video, and I thought, well, I need to get some games. And on the Sunday at the event, the first game I actually picked up was this. It's in a sorry state, and for those that can't make it out from the label, it's Super Star Wars. Now, I did have a Super Nintendo when I grew up. I just chose to continue with my Mega Drive. To be fair with the SNES, I only really had about a dozen games for it overall, and it was never constantly set up. My Mega Drive was my system of choice, but I did have this game originally, so it was nice to pick that up. It was just a couple of pounds because of the damage, but I'm sure once I clean it up, it will work fine. So that's Super Star Wars, can't wait to play that. And then the next game I picked up was Super Drop Zone. Archer McLean's Super Drop Zone. I can remember this fondly back in the day. My best friend, when we were youngsters, he had a Commodore 64, I had a Spectrum, and I can remember back then Jetpack was a hell of a title to brag about on the Sinclair Spectrum. And there wasn't really a game, it was never ported across to the Commodore 64, or it definitely wasn't at that time. And I can remember the one game he would name drop to try and compete with Jetpack was this game. And I didn't realise that it was released on the Super Nintendo, so I'm really looking forward to playing this. I did show this to Alex and he said it plays very similar to the C64 version. So really can't wait to play that. Absolutely brilliant. Isn't this really surreal, guys? I'm putting Super Nintendo games in the Sega Wall. Look at that. Another game that I was inspired by Alex and his channel, and he raves on about these games, and I picked up the sequel recently on Genesis, and that is Top Gear. One of the most pricey carts I paid for, but you know, I really do love my racers. Some of the 16-bit racers are fantastic, and I can't wait to play this. I paid £8 for it, chuffed to bits with that. And then I thought to myself, if I'm going to start playing some Super Nintendo games, I really want to get them, one, cheap as chips if I can, and two, I want to play some more obscure games and some of the shooters as well, and to help price wise and things like that, I thought I need to get myself an adapter. And there was a stall selling adapters. It was the same stall actually that I got Super Star Wars off. It was like a stall that just had random bits and pieces, all selling it up cheap. This was £10, so it's the adapter. So hopefully I'll be able to play Japanese and American games in that. So really chuffed to get that. Get that down there actually. So also, as I mentioned earlier, Alex said the only thing you need to get yourself is a pad. I couldn't find an official pad for a price that I was willing to pay. They had a few boxed ones and some really high quality, good condition ones, but they're a bit more than what I wanted to pay for one. And on that same stall that I got Super Star Wars from and the universal adapter, I managed to get a third-party SN Pro pad. Now it's had some damage to the side there, probably in a rage quit, someone smacked it and cracked it, but it's all been glued back together fingers crossed it all works. The guy said it should, but it was £1. £1. Had to buy that for £1. If it works, it's going to be brilliant. So yeah, we've got ourselves a Super Nintendo third-party pad. I just can't believe all this Nintendo. But don't worry, guys. I did get some more Sega and a couple of more really nice Mega Drive games that I needed. There was no what I call there was some really desirable games there and some high-end rarer titles, but the games that were there I already had. I was a little bit disappointed because I was aiming to hopefully get sort of like a middle road, sort of like mid-range price Blue Spine, something like Fantasy Star 4 I had in the back of my mind. Adam's Family Values, that was another one I was hoping that was going to be there. Unfortunately they weren't, so I didn't get a mid-tier sort of Mega Drive game, unfortunately, but I did get a couple of nice ones that I really wanted to get in the wall. And first up, these all came from Nate Russell, Gold Saucer Games. He done me an absolutely fantastic deal on these. I got a couple of upgrades as well for the Dreamcast. Let me just grab those because I've left them to the other side. So this bundle, he done me an absolute mate's rates on this. So first up we've got the Mega Drive games, and that is Tough Man Contest. Not an easy one to get hold of with a manual, I've found. You don't see it on the groups much anyway, and I've only ever played this game on the 32X. I've never actually played it on the Mega Drive. It's got a 32 meg cart in it, so it must play pretty close to the 32X version. I'm hoping it did. It's not a game that people talk about much, but I did really quite enjoy this. I don't know if it's because there isn't that many games on the 32X back in the day, but I do remember enjoying Tough Man, so looking forward to giving that a blast on the Mega Drive for the first time. Put that up there, guys. And then next in that bundle off Nate was Alien 3. Now, I did have this game, but I only had it Genesis, and I ticked it off on the list as having it PAL, and I haven't, so I needed to get this. And this is a game I do really like. I've got fond memories of it back in the day. It is tough as nails. It does get really hard, this game, and that's Alien 3. Absolutely glorious condition this. So I did want this one minty if I could get it, and it doesn't disappoint. Absolutely crisp as. Chuffed sick with that, mate. Brilliant, mate. And then, like I said, there was a couple of Dreamcast games I needed just to sort of like an upgrade, and that is Ready to Rumble. Absolutely spotless. The case is great. My one is ruined. It's one that I had from back in the day on launch, so it was good to get a replacement for Ready to Rumble. And then with the house move, I actually lost a couple of games, or I just can't locate them. And one of them games I noticed while filming the Dreamcast videos, and hence why the last video hasn't gone up yet. And that is because I was missing a game. And luckily Nate come to the rescue and he had that. And that's Railroad Tycoon 2. God knows what's happened to the other one. It's a game that I needed in the final 20. And I picked it up late last year, but I've misplaced it, guys. So finally I get Railroad Tycoon 2 replaced and put back in the wall, so that's brilliant. So that last video will be up real soon, guys. And Nate done me an absolute fantastic mate's rate on that, mate. Thank you so much, mate. Absolutely chuffed sick with that. So they were the pickups at Revival and the event itself. Like I said earlier, we all met up. What actually happened is me and Pete on a RetroTip, we went back to our hotel, we checked in, we freshened up, dropped off all our luggage, and then we got a taxi back to the Revival event. They had a lock-in where they had a curry and chili night. You go there, the bar was open, and it was all for the traders really, and certain guests. we went there, we played. It was nice to be able to play some of the machines without having to queue and all the people. You're going to see on my reel, I've tried to film when it was less busy. Don't let that fool you guys. At times on Saturday, it was jam-packed. It was buzzing. It really was busy. I did get some footage, but I've chose not to use a lot of that because it's mostly in just footage of being stuck in the middle of crowds of people, or you know, I was trying to film a video game or an arcade game, and yeah, there was too many people around it. So don't let that fool you when you see the footage. I done that when it was quiet. Some of the footage I captured at this sort of lock-in after revival, and yeah, that was great. I got to chat to more people in a quieter atmosphere, which was great, and get to play some games. I played Outrun loads. I really did. Really enjoyed playing Outrun. Undisturbed like that, it was great. And we also went into the arcade gamers section where they were doing like a high score challenges. Got to play Robotron, Time Pilot, and games like that. Absolutely brilliant. We stayed there for about an hour or so, and a lot of the YouTubers and Facebookers were meeting at a Premier Inn hotel bar restaurant, which a lot of them were staying at, and it was central to Warsaw Town Centre. So me and Pete, Shaq, we jumped into a cab and we went down to that hotel, and what a turnout. Absolutely loads of tubers there. I got to speak to loads and loads, loads of memories shared, loads of tales to tell. It was absolutely brilliant. We did drink a lot. The sambucas were coming out, and that's when things started getting a bit dangerous, but it was absolutely thoroughly enjoyable. A fantastic social event. It really was. I did take with me a bag of stuff like loose manuals, game boxes, complete games, some Dreamcast stuff. I was handing stuff out to people that needed the stuff, which was great. And I done a little trade with Holly Holster TV. She took a Dreamcast game off me. That was Ferrari F355 Challenge, and she swapped with me. We done a trade for another Sonic bag. Look at that. So absolutely chuffed to bits with that, Holly. That will go with my Sonic bag collection. I might do a wall of Sonic bags. So yeah, we done a little deal there, and like I said, it was absolutely brilliant to sit down, have a bit of food, and drink loads of beer, get merry, and just have an absolutely crazy time. I know Stuart absolutely had a whale of a time, didn't you, Stu? But yeah, the Retro Round guys, all the tubers, absolutely fantastic. Speak to James a lot. Let's Talk Retro. There was a couple of other lads there. I can't remember your name, guys. I got too drunk in the end, I think. But yeah, there was a few other lads there that I can't remember their names. I know they're new to YouTube. They've got some YouTube channels up, and I promise you guys I will find your channels and subscribe. Also, there was Scott Glory Hunter there, Holstered TV, as I've mentioned. Pete, obviously, he was there. Dana, GRUSS Newton, just so many people there, and it was absolutely fantastic. What an amazing weekend it really was. Do another massive shout out to Craig Turner and his team. Without you guys, you know, this event wouldn't be possible, and Revival really is the social event for the retro scene of the year. It's more intimate, it's just that opportunity where the community comes together, the gamers, the Facebookers, the YouTubers, the collectors, and you just have a really, really great day. A great weekend, and thank you, Craig and team, for setting that up. I really hope that isn't the last big revival. It will be an absolute, it'll be guttering if it is. But what an event, guys. Absolutely brilliant. On the way home, it was tiring. We had to drop Lee off at Nottingham, when we got to his pad, we went up and saw Lee is a big seller on the Facebook groups. He mostly deals in sort of like 8-bit micros and the likes. He loves his ST and Atari Jaguar even. All of that. He showed us his fantastic Dizzy collection. Absolutely amazing collection, that Lee. Really, really impressive. I loved it, mate. And yeah, we took the opportunity to rummage through some of the games he had for sale, stuff he hadn't listed yet, and I done it again, guys. Some more Super Nintendo games, and Lee done me an absolute mate's rates on these, way below what they sell for on eBay. And first up, we've got Turtles in Time, a side-scrolling beater which I don't think needs any introduction. Everyone knows the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and these games. I've played the Mega Drive version. Really looking forward to seeing the Super Nintendo version. A lot of people say this is the better version. So that'll be a good one to test, I thought. And I'll be able to try out my adapter for the first time because it's the Japanese release. And then finally, the last purchase was Super Punch-Out. And this was a game I did have back in the day in the original 12 or so games that I had. I can remember really liking this. One of my favourite NES games was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So I remember reading this in the magazines, and it was a game I really had to get. And I can remember getting my Super Nintendo, because I think this was a later release on the SNES. I can remember digging out my Super Nintendo out of the wardrobe and having to set it all up because I picked this game up and I really wanted to play it. And yeah, it's a great little game. And really looking forward to playing that. And like I said, I'm going to do a video. And there we go, guys. That's the pickups. I hope I've mentioned everyone that I've talked to. I really apologise. I'm going to be gutted if I've missed anyone. But what I said, what an event. Thank you, Craig Turner. I know how much hard work it is, mate, for you to organise this and your team. I really hope you do this again soon, mate, and we want another one. Like others have said, the Saturday was mental. It was really busy. Rumours were it weren't going to be as busy as last year, but I'm not sure about that. It seemed really, really busy. What an event. I'm going to stop waffling now, guys, because my throat is seriously going. I hope you enjoy this roll and footage of the event. Until the next time, guys, I'm Sega Zombie. Goodbye.
isn't it? There he is.
What's up, Phil?
Are you right, Marie?
Right.